Good morning, it's day 4, and as everyone knows, day 4 is base coat day. So, I very quickly, I did this at home while I was off last week, I very quickly filled and sanded the outer chassis. Okay, I'm actually off work for a couple of days, and even though I am going to be building this for the most part in my lunch breaks and coffee breaks at work, just to see if it can be done, I'm going to speed up the process a little bit while I'm off for these few days. And when I say speed up the process, all I'm going to do is just filling and a little bit of sanding, because I want to do the majority of the painting and the fine detailing when I get back to work. So, at the moment, the case is done. This sellotape is just to hold it together for while I fill it. What I've done is I've actually cut up my gym membership card, slightly ironically, to make this PlayStation just have a little bit of a backing plate behind here, so that when I'm going to run the filler, and the filler I'm using is just a standard all-purpose filler, just something that the paint would adhere to and it will stick in there. So yeah, I'm going to run just some all-purpose filler in there. That backing plate is actually glued in. So it's not like you put enough pressure on there and the filler just pops in. That is actually properly glued into there. I've cut out the slot for the HDMI here. So what I'm going to do is just run some filler in there, sand it so it's nice and smooth and ready for the paint to adhere to. And also I'm going to run filler in there and then sand this whole top bit down. What I'm going to do is stick wet and dry paper to the table, and then rather than rub wet and dry paper on here, what I'm going to do is stick the wet and dry paper to the table, turn it face down, and then rub it on the table, so it should be nice and smooth. But then after that, I'm pretty much done at home. I have been testing the PlayStation 2 itself, and when I say testing, I mean playing Vice City. It is working like a dream right now. I still don't know what many of those other options do. There we go. Other than that, the painting is going to be the thing that takes the most time. So, obviously the top's going to be painted, but it's going to be painted white first. Buttons are going to be painted white. I've managed to get the Sony logo off, even though I can't find it. So I have actually pulled the Sony logo off the front there, which is usually on here, on silver. Then I've got to cut the around the lettering, so the Sony logo will be silver, but the backing will be red. Like I said, the buttons are going to be red. The network card also going to be red. But first I need to do a white coat to all of it, so it's going to take so long, I figured, rather than literally waiting for all of this to dry at work, I could just do it now, let it, sit overnight, and then sand it properly tomorrow, and it'll save so much time. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, what I might do is, instead of using this, I might use No More Nails. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work, but hopefully this works. All right, let's get started. I know it might look a bit scrappy, but this is pre-sanding, and it's actually come out a lot better than I would have expected. So what I'm going to do today, this is now stuck. This wet and dry paper here is just stuck to my kitchen floor, and I am going to flip that over and sand it off. And then that'll be it for my time at home. Really quick one. Yeah, then it'll just be ready for painting and then stenciling and then repainting. But yeah, I'm going to try and get this as smooth as possible. Just so I make this clear, the reason I used just standard polyfiller rather than sort of like a plastic or something is because I wanted the paint to adhere to it. See, the thing with polyfiller is it won't get too hot. And it's porous because it's just a dust paste, basically. So the paint will definitely adhere to it. Whereas if I use something like a plastic or even something like No More Nails and then just, molded it to the shape that I needed, there's no guarantee that the paint would adhere properly to it, and it just looks scrappy and messy. And I don't really want a big blob of messy paint on the front. So I know that the paint will definitely stick to this. All right, let's get sanding. Okay, just a few minutes of sanding later, and this is absolutely baby skin smooth. Like, it's ridiculously smooth. And I even got off the DVD and whatnot logos on the top. So all I've got to do now is clean this. Even the logo is completely smooth. That's just full of filler now. So what I need to do is clean it, and then obviously get this sandpaper up, and that is ready to paint. So I'm just going to literally put it in a bag and wait for my next lunch break at work. So the PlayStation 2 logo is completely filled, and then I wet and dried it. What I'm going to do tonight in my lunch break, and probably outside of my lunch breaks a little bit, but only very quickly, we're talking minutes, is apply many fine coats of Pound Shop's finest white gloss spray paint. And the reason is, I'm going to do like very fine coats to start with, and then maybe on a few of the pieces slightly heavier coats, so I can then apply the red, but this will probably be tomorrow. So everything has been disassembled and put out there except the bezel, because I forgot it. That's still at home. The controller, the receiver, the network card, the memory card, the outer chassis, and there was something else, but all of that has been disassembled and carefully laid out in the part of the building where I do all my spray painting. If you didn't watch my video where I made the Harlequin and Joker controller, if you haven't seen that one, then you're probably unaware, but I don't, as you know, doing all the electronics and little bits and pieces I can quickly do on my lunch break. I do that here in the office, but for spray painting, really don't want to set off fire alarms, so I do that in the basically an unused part of the building. So let's go there now. Okay, so I'm in that part of the building. It's nice and well-ish ventilated, and I'm just going to swing you around so you can see what I'm about to do. So we have the top part of the chassis here. That's all been sanded. That's ready to go. There's the bottom. So you've got the upper, the lower. You've got the controllers. Now the controllers are going to be red, so I'm doing a white base coat first. So it's going to be white, white. This is the receiver, white, white, and that's the battery cover, also white. Then it's going to be red. So both the receiver and the controller are going to be red. That's going to be red. That's going to be white first, then the stencil is going to be applied, then it's going to have a red top after the stencil. This is the network card. That's going to be completely red. Here's the fan, great, that's going to be completely red as well. The memory card is going to be red with a white label, a white triangle, and a white, probably a white little Sony logo. Joysticks are going to be white, but I'm not going to use them with my thumbs. I'm going to put white caps on. So I'm going to spray them white, then I'm going to put white caps on so they won't wear down. Trigger's going to be white, all the buttons are going to be white, D-pad's going to be white, L1s, L1, R1, L2, R2, all going to be white. Memory cards are going to be white. These are the caps for the screws. So you normally have rubber ones and plastic ones, but since this is going to be vertical constantly, I'm only using the plastic one. So I've got 4 from the stinky one and 4 from my original PlayStation. And what I'm going to do is spray them white, spray them red. Memory cards, I think I'm going to, or the memory card caps, I think I'm going to have them white as well. So, as far as we see here, everything apart from these caps and this is going to be white. These are going to be red, these are going to be red. The power button and the reset button, what I've done is I've actually used blue tack underneath and a tiny little blob of blue tack over where the light pipe is, the little plastic light pipe. This is actually clear plastic, which is then sprayed black. So I can't remove the little light pipe for the LED. So what I'm going to do is just cover it with blue tack, cover the underside with blue tack, so we get no paint seeping in underneath anyway. That's also going to be white. So it's going to be white, white, white. These are red, white, red and white. And then the rest of it's just red. The only other difference is down here, this little Sony logo. Now this is actually a small piece of metal. Some of them are plastic, But on my original one, my launch one, that's actually a metal, it's almost like a little piece of pressed aluminium. So what I've done is I've actually stuck sellotape over the Sony logo, and I'm going to do the back red, so it's going to be metallic on red rather than metallic on black. I just think it will look better. I was going to use packing tape, but I've gone for sellotape so I can actually see underneath and see if I get any paint anywhere. Hopefully it works. So yeah, I am literally just about to start spraying. Here we go. This is probably going to take, I don't know, most of the night, but in small 2 or 3 minute chunks. All right, let's get started. Okie doke, and I'm done for now. Oh, I'm absolutely covered in dirt and paint. I'm going to start with the thing that turned out the worst and move on to the rest of the stuff. So the controller soaked up that paint like a goddamn sponge, so it's still kind of purpley. I might, because this is going to be red anyway, I might give it another quick pass with a white, and then just do the red. But to be honest, I'm not that concerned about the controller. The joysticks as well, absolute garbage. So, I mean, the buttons came out really nice as it goes. It's just the controller and the joysticks, absolute garbage. I'm putting white caps on it anyway, not really worried about that. The receiver, again, made out of the same plastic, absolute garbage. It just soaked up that paint. I don't know what kind of material this plastic is. It's that sort of like cheap plastic. Maybe the red will adhere better to the paint, like the white paint, as opposed to the plastic, so it might look good when it's done. But yeah, not too concerned about that. If it comes out good, great. If it doesn't, not really bothered. Memory card came out really well, so that's now bright white. The power buttons as well. I'm going to let that properly dry before I peel off the blue tack on the top and the bottom. The caps came out excellent. This little Sony logo, I am going to do that in red, so the backing will be red, but that looks okay. I can clean that up with a razor blade if I get any, excess on there. But the memory card, power buttons, caps, and the Sony logo, pretty good. The memory card ports also came out pretty well. I think I'm going to leave those white. I quite like the white. The HDD adapter, network adapter, also looks a-okay. The fan, also pretty good, like both of those. That's done. Now remember that this is a base coat, so this is just the underneath. So the red paint's going to go on there, red paint's going to go on there, probably going to leave those white. Red paint's going to go on here, red paint's going to go on here. So, for a base coat, I'm happy with that. It's okay. Over here, we have the lower and the upper, and these have come out really well, actually. I mean, it could be better along here, could be better along there, and could be better along there. But again, this is a base coat, so it doesn't really matter. The actual finished... Let's see if I can get a bit of a shine on that. Hang on. Look. Where's the light? There you go. You can still kind of see the PlayStation 2 logo in there, but again, when it's red, you won't. Nice gloss finish. Just waiting for that to dry properly. So again, done. And yeah, just going to wait until tomorrow. Do the stencil and then the red coat. Alright, cool. Peace.